Like a lot of dudes who are in this, manosphere mentality, they think that I'm just coming at them only because I'm attacking their identity. They have identified with this mentality. And if I attack, if anybody talks about it, especially if you're female, in which a lot of the mentality has a lot of resentment against females, they will lash out at people like me. Really quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Multi-Collagen by BioTrust. Collagen is often referred to as our modern day fountain of youth, and for a good reason. Supplementing this powerful nutrient can bring back a youthful glow to our skin, hair, and comes from this amazing mix that I highly encourage my audience to try. It uses a unique blend of the top 5 most critically important types of collagen for our bodies to youthfulness to our skin, hair, and nails. Order it today and get a bundle of benefits by going to healthwithnatalie.com. That's healthwithnatalie.com. 𝘏𝘶𝘮𝘢𝘀𝘍𝑚𝑢𝑐ℎachas. So Lila Rose, she has been one of the most heavy hitter advocates going against the horrific procedure that deletes babies. It starts with an A. But aside from that, she has also become an influencer that promotes things like family values, things that are right in the eyes of God. Recently, she was on a podcast called Whatever, and I'm sure you guys have seen these very viral clips circulate on social media. It's usually of young Instagram girls going against just a couple guys, but this time it was really, really opposite. Lila Rose actually went viral recently because she asked a man who co-hosted the podcast a guest question that just really seemed to trigger him to the core. I wanted to react and watch this with you all, and I just want to give my commentary as well. There is a lot of a void. There's a lot of void that I think is exemplified in this example, and I think we can all take from it, especially men who feel empty and are broken from their past. So with that being said, hold on to your butts, secure your wigs, stay right there. We're going to go through it. All right, so let's get right to it. Lila Rose is on Whatever podcast, which, by the way, this podcast, I mentioned it in my intro. It's usually comprised of a bunch of, young Instagram models, OF models. You guys should know by now what that stands for. That platform that the women, girls, actually young ladies and women post their, what's for money, right? So people subscribe to that platform for money, and they basically show their body off. So it's comprised of a lot of those girls as the guests, and there are usually like a couple guys that question them and throw around questions to get them to answer, right? So Lila Rose is completely opposite from that because she is a traditional Christian mother who has strong anchored values in the Lord. She's a Christian, and she asked this man a question in which he answers in a very unsuspecting way. I'm going to go ahead and just play this entire thing in its entirety for you guys to react to it, and then I will go through it again for some commentary. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. Thought something was wrong with me. You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business. Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it. It's just not how I am.
It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. Okay. I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two-shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm going to live my life on my terms, unapologetically, like truly. So you can ask me this 85 different ways. At the end of the day, I'm going to walk out of here the same man.
All right.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. Pause. Cheese and crackers, Twitter. My goodness. All right. So I know that was a lot, right? Like, That was a lot to process. Okay. When I first watched this, I was like, whoa. Like, why did it go from 0 to 100 very, very quick? Obviously this man, he has a lot of hurt. Like at first when I saw it, of course, as we react with our flesh, if you are a Christian, you know what I'm talking about. When I had my first reaction, I was like, wow, this man is really triggered. And notice that he had to say that he wasn't triggered. As of now, looking back at it, it was sort of as a form of self-soothing. Now, I want to go back through this. There are a lot of pieces that I want to pick apart on this and also give you guys some additional biblical commentary on, what we are seeing illustrated before our eyes.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay.
So to me, honestly, when he says fire away, I mean, he's essentially opening himself up. It's almost as if like he is ready to receive any type of question, but I don't think that he was thinking he was going to receive a question that would so touch his core the way it did.
You have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said. Why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. Thought something was wrong with me.
You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct.
Okay, so let me take it back a little bit. I went a little bit too far. Let me take it back a little bit.
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself.
Okay. So he said he's just not wired like that, and that he spent his entire 20s trying to fix himself. Now, I think what we're learning from this, and this is like seeing this again, it gives me a lot more, empathy to see how hurt this guy is. Like this guy, and a hurt person will hurt a person, right? And I think that he got really, really hurt at one point, and that broke him. Now obviously not hit, like he still has a lifestyle, he's still making money, he's still doing all these other things at facade, right? But I think inside there's something that really, really hurt him to his core, which is why he's probably responding the way he is, right? Now, it doesn't excuse his behavior, it doesn't excuse the way that he's talking to her. But I definitely think that this is a great thing to examine together, because this is not a normal way to respond to females at the genesis of a question. And the thing is, like, the way that Lila asked him, why can't you just be monogamous, right? She said, why can't you just choose one female, be faithful to her, right? That was what she was asking. That didn't start off condescending. It didn't start off with an attitude. It was just literally, hey, like, she's dissecting his mentality. She's probing his brain. And I don't think that's the part that I don't think he likes. Now, when he said he was hardwired like that, or he was wired that way, that is typically that is a deception. That is a deceptive lie coming from demonic intel. And this is what will tend to convince people, because people are meant to be loved. Okay, it said it in Genesis that Adam was alone, and God said that was not good. So he created Eve. He created Eve from his rib, which was it was on the side of him. It was not below him. She was meant to walk by him to help him, right? So God made us innately with the fabric to love somebody, to be with somebody, right? And that's what we should all, if you're single, that's what you should aspire to want. That is what you should aspire and pray for, not going into this other thing that we're going to learn about, right? We're going to break down a little bit further, but yeah, man, I just feel like he says he's hardwired like that. I think there was one thing that caused devastation or trauma to him. I don't know what his childhood, and this is the thing that kind of brings me back to empathy, because like I truly see where people who have broken backgrounds, broken parentage, right? Broken families, how they get really, really hurt. And sometimes I see the child in these adults. And I have a lot of pity and a lot of sadness for them, right? So I see where he's broken and why he's lashing out. Now let's take it a little bit further, because it doesn't make it right.
You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's not how I am.
Do you think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. I saw somebody say that, and I think
Choose to be faithful.
I spent my whole 20s trying to
Kind of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's not how I am.
Do you think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Gosh, come on, Twitter. Pause it.
I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. I pressed the pause button about 1 bajillion times. Okay, so Lila then she encourages this same sort of mentality that is often touted to these influencers. Now, this guy, his name is, I believe, Justin Waller, right? So he is also part of the whole man, living, influencing type lifestyle, right? Now, I can only gather from some context clues that he might be part of this whole red pill mentality, right? Because what we have seen lately, and I've seen a lot of people chime in who believe this mentality of the red pill manoverse, who are like, you just took one comment and you're trashing the entire thing. Where it's like, well, okay, here's another example, right? Why this is toxic thinking. Now, here's the thing, like, Lila Rose, once again, was not being condescending. She was saying, well, why can't you commit? Why can't you be monogamous? He said he's not wired like that. And so she said, well, aren't you a man of self-control? Because in order for this guy to have the lifestyle that he has, the body that he has, all these things, you have to have a lot of self-control and discipline to do those things, to grow your network, grow your marketing, go to the gym, disciplined in what you eat. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of life of discipline and you have a life of self-control. So what she's basically asking him is, why can't, if you have self-control in all these other pockets of your life, why can't you just have self-control for that one person and build that into something beautiful, like a family, right? Into a marriage and a family. And that's where he starts to get snarky, get a little bit nasty. He said it's none of your business. But here's the thing, like, first of all, he opened up by saying fire away, right? Fire away. She asked him a question, but I don't think he expected that type of question. But the other thing is, these type of guys are influencers on the internet, and it is curious that they are touting these mentalities of be disciplined, be this or that in marketing and build your wealth and do all these things, right? They're very hard hitting on these other subjects. But when it comes to women, for whatever reason, or relationships, they are very, very broken. And so they tout this very toxic mentality out to younger men, or this is their audience. It's either young men, or they are very broken adult men, older adult men who have not had male role models in their lives, who have had a lot of feminine energy raise them. And so therefore they emulate that feminine energy. And that's why you see, a lot of these dudes, and it's not just this example, I've seen it, in a lot of other examples where dudes are fighting with women real catty, they have to have this feminine energy and they have to go after women. You know what I mean? Like, it's because they have feminine energy. And that's the thing, like, young men, taking it back to the audience, young men with broken households and who lack a father figure or a male figure, they will go after these influencers here. That's why they get attracted to this type of mentality. But then they get indoctrinated with things that are not so good, right? So that's the thing. Like, she's like, yo, like, you have the self-control aspects part of your life. And then it's like, why can't you just put your energy in that one thing?
But I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two shoes type way, and that's fine. The
thing is, when someone is truly not triggered, you don't have to announce that, right? when you're truly not triggered and unbothered about something, people they don't announce like, I'm unbothered by you. Like, who would say that, right? So which gives me, to me, this gives off that he was truly triggered, not just triggered, but he was hurt to his core, hort to his core, right? It was hurt and core. That's what I was trying to say. At the same time, he's hurt to his core. It's not funny. I apologize for that. I'm laughing at myself, but he is hurt to his core. Something raw is there, dude. That's why when she asked that question, that's why he's reacting the way that he is, because this is not normal behavior. And for the guys out there who think that this is normal behavior to name call, because he's starting to be rude, gauche, he's starting to name call Lila Rose for no reason, because she asked a question. And it wasn't even like a deep hypnosis question. It's like, yo, why don't you just do this in your life? And it's just like, he just got really, really triggered by it. Starts calling her things like annoying and a goody two shoes, when these are not. I mean, it's like, it's funny that people like to devalue anchored values, like godly nuclear values, and they'll call it things like goody two shoes. Now, I haven't seen something like that or heard something like that in a really, really long time. But just know, like, have your barometer. Like, this is wrong. You don't talk to females like this, especially like for a casual conversation, right? Of course, I get it. Like, there are some other scenarios where you're in an argument. Maybe the female might be nasty towards you and all these things. That's, there's nuances to the conversations and arguments. But something like this, where she's asking him a genuine question, she's not being rude about it, she's not being condescending, and this is how he chooses to respond. This is not normal behavior. This is not normal behavior. Okay. So if there are any males that are watching this and they're thinking and they agree with this type of, this type of rebuttal, and that what he did is completely normal and fine, there's something corrupt that went wrong in your thinking, something that you're indoctrinated in, because this is not normal. This is not manly behavior towards a woman, especially a respectable woman like Lila Rose.
Live my life on my terms, unapologetically, like truly. So you can ask me this 85 different ways. At the end of the day, I'm gonna walk out of here the same man.
And I think that's very, very sad.
Can I ask you one more question?
I really do.
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your
My goodness. Okay. I don't know what's going on. All right. So I wanted to go through some of this. I was actually originally going to do a little bit of an overview on double-mindedness, although, when I was meditating on double-mindedness, the subject of double-mindedness and God's word, this guy actually made a decision to go that way, right? Now, at the very beginning, she mentions like, oh, you want to be in a monogamous relationship, you mentioned, so he might still want that monogamous relationship. It just hurts him to think about it, which is what, once again, it has me feeling a lot more sadness for the dude, because he does seem hurt, because something genuinely did devastate him at one point. And notice, like, what I'm going to say is going to mention a lot of like the wicked in these verses. I want you all to know that I think that everybody has a propensity to change. I think people have the capacity to evolve. And I truly believe that this guy can evolve and heal from his hurt and from his trauma. And he's not a lost cause. I think that despite him having a really nasty attitude towards women and being resentful in that way, I think that is unacceptable and nobody should accept that. But I still have empathy that this is a hurt person. This is like a hurt person hurting other people. And his attitude, I want to say, like, he still has the capacity to be a good person, but that attitude is wicked. Okay, so let's just reference his attitude and his treatment as wicked, right? Not necessarily him, because he's just a shell. He's a vessel. He can change, right? So it says here, and this is in Proverbs 13. Starting at verse 5, the righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves, right? All right. Now, what I wanted to also mention is the fact that this guy could not look Lila Rose in the eyes. And what I get from that is not only is he, provoked from this question, but he also kind of looks a little scared of it, but a little bit shameful as he's talking about it. Right. So I thought of shame coming from, his response with this. So the righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. And he looks shamed. He can't make eye contact. He's looking down the entire time that he's saying these things, even the rude things, right? And then it says, righteousness guards the person of integrity, but wickedness overthrows a sinner. And here's the thing, like, when you look at the comments of this, there are a lot of people that are defending Lila Rose and all this. A lot of people that are saying how rude the guy is and how that's truly not manly, that's a weak man. I see a lot of comments that say that that's a weak man, things like that, right? So there are people out there defending the integrity of Lila Rose. So this is literally fleshing out as we see it. Righteousness guards the person of integrity, but wickedness overthrows a sinner. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. I want to break that down, right? So one person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. So we see this so much, right? And I'm not saying that this guy isn't rich, because I do believe that he's got wealth and all that. He's got everything that he says he's got, or maybe not. But you see a lot of these people who are on the internet, Instagram, models and all these things, pretending to be rich and, having all these decadent things in their lives. And yet, although they might make money, they're pretending to be this lifestyle that they aren't, and they go home and I bet you if they haven't found Jesus, like they have this void going on, which is why they always have to seek out more attention and more attention and more attention. It truly is heartbreaking, right? And this is in no way not to hold accountability to the females, because I do believe that we need to hold accountability to the females. I'm actually going to do a different video on this. There was a different take that I wanted to go through because, for instance, I think whatever podcast, it's good. It's good for our culture because it truly does. It truly does illustrate out how depraved our young women are. Right. I would never fathom at the age of my early 20s, in my late teens, like 19, 18, of age, showing my body, dude. I would never. Plus, my mom would have beat me with the broom and a chancla, dude. That's a different story. So I do want to make a different video on keeping young women accountable and how this culture is truly, just really corroding our young women as well, right? I'm not just going to dunk on the dudes, but dudes lead. So I definitely want to make an example of this, especially when it comes across my desk, right? So a lot of people are defending the integrity of Lila Rose, and as it should be. Now, taking it back, one person pretends to be rich and has nothing. One person pretends to be poor and has great wealth. Okay, so what I was talking about before all that, I went on that rant, that tangent. So the people who pretend to be rich and have nothing, a lot of these young girls, a majority of them are doing this on Instagram, on OF. And they go home and they have this void because they have shown their bodies. They come back to this emptiness and they seek out more and more and more attention and validation. And the world will not validate you to fulfillness. Only God can do that, right? So, and then it says another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. And to me, the way I interpret this scripture, this line is, a person who is truly humbled, even if they have great wealth, even if they have these great things, if they are truly humbled, they are so humble that they have great wealth. That means that they have a wealth of wisdom. They might even be monetarily wealthy, who knows, right? But they have had all of this character development through their trials and tribulations, and they are so humble that they would they would be in their humility so much that they would interact with anybody, down to earth, like they're ready to interact, right? That is great wealth when you possess so much characterization, but you can be so humble to interact with anybody and to treat with anybody with respect. That is great wealth. A person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to threatening rebukes. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked snuffed out, just as we saw in this example, right? So I just really, I feel for the dude. Like, I think that he really, I think he can really turn that emptiness, that hurt. I think he can heal from it. I think he needs to seek God and just truly heal from that, whatever hurt him, man. Whatever did. That's all I can say. Like, I just see a man who is broken over something, and that, because that's not normal behavior. Okay. And this is why, like, I do, and I'm going to continue, by the way, I'm going to continue calling this stuff out. Like, it's going to continue to be an example. Right. And I will make an example of the young women in our culture. Believe me, right. They should be held accountable. And, you know, radical feminism has really been a cancer in our society. It has seeped into even the most beautiful women, you know, selling themselves so short on the internet. And it's just truly heartbreaking, because that's only creating more and more void for yourself. So if you are, by the way, if you are one of these OnlyFans girls and you're watching my video, and, you know that I am not coming at you with a sense of hate, or I'm not coming at you with a sense of contempt. Like, I truly know that there is a more prosperous, more meaningful characterizing life and persevering life that will make you a better person, and that will help you reach different stages where you persevere through different levels, and where, you know, God can really make you, he can really prosper your some plans for your life, right? But OnlyFans is not going to be it. It ain't going to be it, right? It's always only going to create a void. And so that's just speaking out to those sisters out there that are doing that type of stuff. You know, it's just the culture all around. Like, a lot of dudes who are in this, you know, manosphere mentality, who believe all this garbage, all of these demonic intel mentalities, right? They think that I'm just coming at them only because I'm attacking their identity. They have identified with this mentality. And if I attack it, if anybody talks about it, especially if you're female, in which a lot of the mentality has a lot of resentment against females, they will lash out at people like me. But here's the thing, I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'm going to keep doing my investigations. I'm going to keep doing my digs, you know, and things that are not, you know, not necessarily culture things, right? Things that need to be exposed. So I'm going to keep doing those types of videos, those types of documentaries. But at the same time, I'm going to keep exposing culture like this, and giving you the biblical perspective of it, right? So with that being said, guys, that's what I wanted to go through. I think Lila Rose handled it gracefully. I know that he probably said some things that, like, it's like, yo, why are you saying stuff like that? You know, like, you didn't have to reply that way. But I sense that there's something really raw, something that stings, that is part of his past that he has not resolved. So anyway, find God, guys. Give your heart up to Christ and follow the word and transform your lives. You don't have to go void into this world. You can truly change your life. Okay. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.